Hello, everyone. This is my 5 tips for searching to help you with the Unit 2 requirement in the outline of having 3 high quality sources. And of course, this will help you as you continue on with your searching because you'll have to add more and more sources until you get done with your final paper. So first I'm going to go through the 5 tips and kind of demonstrate them. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to go onto the library website and talk about where you can start searching. Because for this first part, last week for the first part, you just use the main Deets search. And this is something that I hear all the time. Well, Deets didn't have anything on my topic. Well, if you're just typing in that search bar, you're only searching a little bit of the library. You're not even really searching all the databases that they have. So that's what I'm going to cover at the end about where you can go to search and find more information. So I am going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint going over the 5 tips, and then I'll be demonstrating them. So the 5 tips for better searching. Number 1 is keywords and Boolean operators. That's sort of key. So you have a research question. I'm using this question from last semester. Someone was doing, what are personalities that make the best business managers? That was their starting question. So when you do a keyword search, that means that you are just taking the main concepts of your topic, of your question, and putting those into a database or putting those into Google and doing a search. You're not putting a whole string of words. You're keeping it very, very simple. And I always say searching, it's the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. That is really what you need to do when you are doing a search, especially as a beginner. Now, you can get more complex with it, but as a beginner, you need to just keep it simple. So you just pull out the main points of your question. So this would probably be personalities, business, and managers. What are definitely or not best? It's not really. You may pull up some stuff with using the word best, but really it's not necessary. You want to stick with nouns are always sort of the best. Not absolutely always, but for the most part, the best. So you want to kind of stick with those main key topics or key concepts in your topic. So from there, it kind of is important to how you combine them. So libraries use Boolean operators. The databases use Boolean operators. It's actually a mathematical term, and we use and, or, and not. Now, and not sort of limit your results. You're combining your keywords together, and you're telling the database or you're telling Google, I only want to see the results that have these words. Or we'll expand. So let's say you're not getting enough information. You're going to put 2 similar words. And again, like I said, I'll demonstrate this. 2 similar words together and say, well, it could be this word or it could be this word. So whatever words that the faculty or the authors are using, I want to see either one. So from there, you may, after you're looking at it, you may want to decide to use quote marks. Quote marks will really reduce down your results. Let's say you have 2 words that are very similar, like we had business managers. Maybe we want to keep those words together. You put quote marks around business managers. You cannot put quote marks around 1 word. It doesn't work. It has to be two or more words. And you're doing what's called a phrase searching, meaning that you're trying to find these words together in an article or website or whatever. And you only want to see those. So that even reduces it down even more. So that's first 2 tips, figuring out what your keywords are, reducing it down with Boolean operators and with quote marks makes a difference. But the other thing is filtering. So I like to, and I'm amazed, I shop for shoes online all the time, but a lot of people don't. But you put in, let's say you want boots. up come 1,000 boots. So on the side, you'll notice it'll say something like, what price do you want? What color? What size? What type? What brand? And you click on all those and you filter down to what you really, really want. Databases work the same way. You filter down to what you really want. Sometimes you can do it before you start searching and sometimes after. So I'll show that here in an example. And then tip number 4, and you've kind of already done that with your background, but finding one good article can lead you to so much more. So if you find that one perfect article, first of all, it'll give you more keywords to use. It'll give you more ideas how to focus. But then it leads you to something called citation tracking, meaning you look at the citations at the end of the article and you use what they've already researched. These people have already researched for you. Use what they have, and use their sources for your research. Save yourself some time. Use those. I think that's a simple thing. So we're going to go through all of these. I'm going to go back. And I'm in our class. And under academic resources, you scroll down a little bit. I kind of showed this at the very first introductory video. You go into the Dietz library. So again, what you've done is you've done this search right here. As I said before, you haven't searched all of the library. So again, we're going to do a little bit more. And so I think what I'm going to use for my example for right now to kind of show you how to search, I'm going to go into ProQuest libraries. And I'm going to do this top one. A note about databases. So this one that says ProQuest Research Library, and notice it's from business and political science to psychology. It's considered a general database, meaning it's huge, covers everything. It'll be a good one for you to use, especially if you're not sure where your topic fits. But if you notice, it has biology, so there's one with biology, career and technical, criminal justice, education. So if your topic applies to those more specific specialized, these are called specialized because they cover just one topic, you can go in there. And again, I'm going to go over that just a little bit more. I just kind of wanted to say that right at the beginning. So you would click on this. You do need to put in your Southwestern ID number and the last 5. This trips me up. Last 5. Hopefully you all figured that out from last week. The last 5 digits of your Social Security. And I already did that kind of to save some time. So, and you pop up. And this is what it looks like. So you would pull out, like I said, you pull out from your research question the most important concepts in there. So remember we had personalities. You can do either one. It'll find either personalities. Sometimes for some you do a wild card, which is like a little star or something, but a lot of times you don't need to do that. I already do that for you. Now notice that I've already got and in here. So it's already doing a Boolean operator, but we can do or not, but we want to definitely, most of the time you're going to use and. It's the best way to focus. So, and let's do managers. And so we have this list. And we have over 1.1 million, and that's kind of a lot. So remember I talked about using quote marks next. So let's go ahead and try and do that. Let's do in quotes. I mean, and I don't know how this, we'll see how this turns out. I haven't tried this. So in quotes, remember it has to be 2 or more words. Business managers, put that in quotes. And let's see what we can do. Well, 15,000, that's still a lot, way better than what we had. And so now we get to the third tip, which is filtering. So, and honestly, and I didn't show you this, but you can do the same thing at the beginning. There was similar things you can do before you even hit search, but I want to show it to you here in case you forget. So notice this says limit to full text. Well, you definitely want to have the full articles. That's what you're going to need. Now, you know you need to have scholarly, or notice this is scholarly journals or peer review. Whoops. You can do either one. They're the same thing. A scholarly journal is peer reviewed, meaning that before it is even published, it is reviewed by other people in the field before it's allowed to be published. 90% of research is not published because it's not considered of a good enough standard. So that's why your professors will always say, you need to have scholarly journals, you need to have research, because that's usually, it's already been reviewed, and it's usually of a higher level. Now, I'm not saying that bad stuff can't get through. It does sometimes, but there's just a little more reliability to it. So I can either hit peer reviewed or scholarly journals, either one, it doesn't matter. But I want to make sure everything's peer reviewed. And then from here, it's going down. Notice we keep going down, 2000. It's getting a little bit better. The other thing we can do, we can say, well, I just want last, or 12 months. That's a little, maybe the last 10 years. Let's try that, because even 5 years, I don't know. You have to kind of play with this. You never know. You know, you want the most current, of course. You don't want to, but some, especially like, I know many of you doing AI, that may, you could maybe do last 5 years on that. It's always hard to know. There's some other things you can do, like different types of documents, like a feature. Those are a little bit more lengthy, and you know, just a regular article. And there's others, especially when we're doing scholarly journals. I think we're okay for now. And there are other filters, like different subject-based filters and different things like that. So there's the subject one. You can focus on different subjects. Now, subject is a little, I will say that subject's a little different than a keyword. Whenever you see a subject connected to an article, that means that a human being looked at the article and said, this is what it's about. Where a keyword is the computer just going, oh, these are, you know, these words match, and it doesn't really sometimes understand your context. So like I had a student, he was looking for assault weapon ban, and he got an article on a drug that was good for breast cancer. Because in it, it said that this drug is an assault weapon on breast cancer. Who didn't know? It matched. It came up. So that's sometimes, if you're finding a lot of that, you may want to hit the subject. So at this point, I'm kind of going to go in and just talk a little bit about what's in here. 1,000, we're doing pretty good with that. Let's see, what else? I'm going to kind of look at these a little bit. So kind of just looking at some, there's some interesting stuff here. Oh, this is interesting. Corporate psychopaths and public agencies. Okay, that sounds really interesting. And actually, I will say this. Yes, here it is. I was thinking, I think I've seen this one because I think he did, the student did use this. It really, and I've said this, I'm saying it over and over again, this is all working. So things are going to change. And he did actually change his topic just slightly and focused it on the dark triad and how that worked in with business managers. And it was very, very fascinating. But anyway, so you have your abstract. This sort of just gives you a summary. And then this one has its full text down here. Keep going. You can also look at it this way if you click full text PDF. Now, if you go to abstract details, I will mention something. If you are trying to link to any of these, you do need to go to abstract details and go down. Don't use this one up here, go down and use the document URL here. It is different if you notice, and sometimes if you use this this one right here, it will, up in the address box, it will not work. So this is the better one if you're going to give a URL. If you notice over here, you can print, cite, save. Cite is important. This is, you click on this. We are using APA, and it does give you a citation that you can copy and paste. So that's a little trick. Now, as I say this, you do need to still know the rules, because sometimes they will not do well. Now, I noticed ProQuest, I think, does a little bit better than the other one, the other big one, EBSCOhost. So I'm looking at this, and it is a correct citation. Or sometimes I notice EBSCOhost maybe doesn't do quite as well, but this one is correct. So you do have to still know the rules, because they'll mess these up. But at least it gives you a head start when creating citations. And so, oh, and I forgot, let me go back in here. I'm going to show this. I'm going to show you the last tip. Sorry about that. I got going off on URLs and like. So here is the article. And remember I said citation tracking. So let's head into the very end. So all of these are going to be chock full of references, because they have to show their work. And so you can use, they've already done all of this research. So you can go through these and see if you can pull out some interesting books or articles for you to use in your papers. Now, and maybe some of these you would have to use something called interlibrary loan and get it through a library, because we wouldn't have access to it. So it maybe wouldn't work for this class, but just to know that that's something you can do in the future, and to use the library then to gain access to these, because they can order these for free for you. Anyone, if they don't own it, they can order it from someplace else and get it for you. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff. It was was an interesting paper. I also like this too. They have, and this is kind of a new thing, related items. You can also use these too to kind of help you. They do throw in some related articles, and so that'll help you too. That's a great way to do some searching. So let me back out of here. Now, the one thing I didn't show you, and we'll maybe do that here, is using the OR. Let's say for some reason 1.18 million is not enough. I don't know. So you could maybe do, this is one I was thinking of. I was actually going to add in another word here, and I was going to say traits. Then and then I thought, or characteristics. I'm just going to experiment, and managers. So notice you can just type in and if you want to. Honestly, it will actually, I don't even really need to type in and. It'll put it in there without doing that. But so notice, I'm just curious what's going to happen. So notice that I just put in two similar words, traits or characteristics, then I put the or. Notice I put parentheses around it, because I don't want and to be stuck in between. It'll be traits and, or, and it's going to bring up everything with or, and that would be a mess. So you really, really do need the parentheses around the or, whatever you're doing or around. So it brought up less, because we added in words, but still it was quite a bit, because we're looking for the two different kinds. And so notice it says personality. It's got personality managers, but here's characteristics, and then here's traits. So that's an idea if you're not finding enough information. Although this is rare to use it, usually you're really struggling to really focus it down. So so normally you use it, but it's a rare occasion. But you might, you never know. I'm going to go back let's see if it'll let me back into, whoops. I don't know if I stopped sharing here. Let me try again. If this is not go away. Sorry. There we go. So I'm going to go back into the main page. This is actually a brand new page that they've designed. So as I said, we started out here, but there's so many, obviously as this goes through, there's a lot of different things you can click on to search. And one of the first places I would recommend is the research guide. It's really nice because it breaks it down to some major kind of over topics, such as business, communications, computer science, education, so healthcare, history, and there's more. Don't think this is it. We're going to keep going. Leadership, political science. And so we're at the part where the student, he obviously looked in business, but then he thought, what else does my topic cover? And he said, oh, I should look in psychology. And he did, and he found some great sources. So try to expand what you're thinking about. Where else would it fit? Will it fit in communication? Will it fit, you're doing something in computer programming. Will it fit into business? So try to think of some other places. And then when you click on these guides, it's going to give you those specialized, which I talked about, those specialized databases that are just focused on that one topic. And then if it just is not working out for you, you're like, I'm not sure where to go or what to use, I do recommend going to ProQuest and using the general one. Let's see, Gale, that's another really good one. And using Academic File. That's a great one. If you're looking for a controversial issue, go to Opposing Viewpoints. But then again, notice it does get specialized too. So they, like this one will be under business. So if you can't figure out in those research guides where to go, just hit those general big ones. You can just click the EBSCOhost and just search their general one too. I just switched this tab right here and search there too. So it's very, very rare. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. It's very rare that you cannot find something in the Dietz library. These are huge. There's millions and millions and millions of articles that you can read in Dietz library. And they have really specialized what they've collected to match your majors. So I hear this and I'm like, I can't find anything on my topic. And I'm like, da-da-da-da-da, here's 5 articles. And they're like, oh, how'd you do that? Well, it wasn't like you were probably searching fine. You just weren't searching enough places or the right places. So that is key. And I think I maybe should add that as a tip, because it doesn't matter where you search. So if you have any questions about combining your keywords or what keywords to use, what databases to use, please just go ahead and email me. I want you to go ahead and try on your own, of course, first. And then if you're struggling, don't hesitate, contact me and I will help you find what you need. So just ask questions and I really wish you good luck. And this is the Sunday announcement to get you started on your research for your outline due later. And I wish you the best of luck.